Okay. By the way, one I thought we could knock out pretty quickly, because if I said that about BDS, I'll tell you a team that, like, they should just enjoy the winter split. Heretics there's no way they're making groups, and they're probably, like, the joke is Fnatic should just be glad Heretics exists, because Heretics looks so bad, dude. Like, this is why last split I did hammer a lot, that I actually thought Jankos did very little wrong. Like, even games where his score looked bad, he did what you should do as a veteran jungler if your team's losing. Like, you try and match the other jungler and get in a position, do the counter. Now, you're going to lose the game, you're going to look bad, but that's actually a good sign, by the way. Your jungler's willing to sacrifice. But, bro, he is elo held so hard on this team now, it's crazy. Like, we had the discussion about All Pro earlier. This guy legitimately is one of the best junglers still, but he's on a team where not only are they bad, it's almost like the team was constructed to not work with Jankos. Like, he doesn't have any laners to work with. What's he supposed to do? Like, his solo lanes, like, there's a reason. The joke is, again, if you want to add another one, the only reason Ruby doesn't get flamed by Dom every week is because he's too busy on his fucking Ebby material, isn't he? Like, otherwise Ruby would be straight in that crosshair as well, mate. Like, I don't know if you're Jankos, what you like, coming from the jungle perspective, what are you supposed to do if you're Jankos in this team? I don't know how you could win these games. I think this team is going to be last place.
Oh no! Look, to be honest, I flame both of them a decent amount on my stream, but it's just there's something that triggers me about when they go to the cameras and right before the game you just see like Evie like he does this like thumb up thing and then everyone's like, oh, he does, and then he just sprints it down. It just as somebody like that existed as a player, like I can't imagine just being a guy's teammate, just see like a guy like playing up to the cameras like. Then like he posts like the like sad picture every single time, but it's like the troll sad picture every single time they lose. I can't imagine getting ran down by a guy and then just seeing him just to the camera every single time. Just the really dramatic one. It's like, hey bro, like focus on your lane. Like shit, we might end up losing. I don't know, man. It triggers me so fucking hard. But then also like, what could have been the upside of Evie? Like he didn't look good. He didn't even look good at Worlds. Like he didn't look good when he was playing against amateur teams, or like not amateur teams, wildcard teams. So how is he going to look good versus some of the top laners that you have in LEC? It doesn't make any sense. I don't see what the redeeming qualities are. And then the angle.
Yeah, but Tom, what about those BO1s at MSI 2021? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? That's so long ago. It's so long ago now, guys. Like, no one the joke is last time Ebby was popping off, Perks was on cloud 9 for fuck's sake.
Oh no!
What more do you want? You know, I'm not hating. That's just true.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like the way he popped off was like he had like an Urgot counter pick that people weren't banning out, and then he just like played well on the Urgot, I guess. Where it's like, I mean, okay, nice. And then people banned the Urgot, and then he was like not good anymore. I don't know, man. I'm seeing this over and over again. It seems like he has zero macro, and worse than that, he has zero awareness. It's like he perma plays lock screen or something. I've never watched a stream, but I would actually wonder how much does he actually look at the map, because it seems like he just doesn't have information that he should have. Like what? Like
it was inadvertent that I even mentioned Yamato. I just said it as a side thing. And he's already gone again. It's like I pulled the string in his back, didn't I? He's on it already. I know. I just realized this could go like 10 minutes more, man.
Yeah, no, this is crazy. He was completely unaware, and then. There's multiple layers to this. All right, Thorin, you said
this is a new Leoma for you, isn't it? You just hate this motherfucker. Just get him out the league, right? Just get him out the league.
I don't even like. It's not like a personal thing.
No, he seems cool, but just as a player, you despise him as a player.
Yeah, I mean, I really hate the way he plays. I really, really hate the way he plays because. Also, here's one thing: if you're gonna fucking don't int somebody who I really like, don't int Jankos. Out of anyone you can fucking int, don't int my boy Jankos. Int somebody else. Int somebody else. If you int Adam, like let's say Evie was a jungler, he inted Adam, I'll be fine with it. I'll probably just be flaming Adam or something. I would force myself to just be delusional. But you're into Jankos every game, and then it's like, what the fuck happened? Like Adam just ran it down. He was actually trolling. Adam was playing to lose, right? He actually was griefing on stage intentionally, and somehow Evie is not able to like get an advantage that means anything and win the game. What the fuck did Adam do in that Heretics game? How was that good at all? He literally just ran it down, and then he tried to he went on the stage afterwards and he's like, yeah, I was helping my bot lane here. How? You gave the Aphelios first blood and died under turret. You're lucky that Mersa can't use his flay and has no ability to press his summoners. You're lucky that guy just cannot use his abilities, or you just died for free, gave Aphelios first blood, and your lane is fucked. He was level 2 to like level 7. The fuck was going on top lane? It's actually a 5-level lead top, and Adam's not smart enough to then go and suicide for the wave to crash it and like actually play Inting Sion from that point. So he just did the least possible, and then Evie just misses like his combo in every single team fight. Nice, cool. That's the game. This guy, like, the thing that's going to trigger me the most is when people try to make a narrative, and I know it's coming because these motherfuckers love using stats. When people start making a narrative about his stats, his laning stats, because he played like a 1v0 lane, and then he also played a lane where he started with first blood, so now his stats are inflated. It's like he's got gold advantage on people. Dude, he's not good in lane. He's not good in team fights. He has one game that he won off Cassante the entire time, and he will consistently make the worst decision macro-wise in team fights. Now, the problem is that Ruby also makes the fucking worst decision possible. So it's like, how do you win games with this team, man? Like, you any type of lead you get with either of these guys, it's like they have no idea where other people are on the map even, which is crazy. So you can't even say it's communication, because I would doubt that either of these players, like, even if there's no communication, you would know what the fuck the right decision is, because you see the people that are coming towards you on the map. They have perfect information in a lot of these situations, and they don't use it. So you literally just have people that are bad at League of Legends, but they're occupying your veteran roles on rosters. That's the part that's the worst, right? The new players you're supposed to be bringing up is the bot lane, right? So you have this veteran top side, but the veteran top side, those players are worse at League and have worse macro sense and have worse team fighting sense and worse game sense than your young players. So what are they helping them with?
I just realized as well, I hadn't even thought of that angle. That's even more egregious that you put Jankos, as far as I can tell, by the way, a guy who's, if you ever listen to G2 comms, sound like an amazing comms, very good, like, leader. You've given him a Japanese player and a Korean player. Like, what? That's his solos. Like, again, it's like you're trying to, is this a fucking escape room for Jankos? He has to find a way out. Like, the fuck is this shit? It's outrageous, isn't it? I know. And also, by the way, I'll give you a very quick point I always make, but I'll make it here to be fair. This is also why Ruby will get to play in the LEC longer than Evie, because Evie plays top lane. So when he hints, it's obvious, right? If you play mid lane and you just play a Zir every game, you just look you can be just as bad, but you look half as bad. You know what I mean? Like, you can just like you can like slowly lose a game where you just do nothing, and at the end you go, well, my scoreline was like 1, 2, 4. You know, it's all right. It's like, no, they're both bad. They both suck. They both suck.
Yeah. I mean, I would be very surprised if they're both not gone. And also, I don't even think that Peter Dunn picked these guys. Like, when he came in the offseason, when you look at like when he was signed and like everything that was happening with EG, and they're not Peter Dunn players. Like, if you think about every player that Peter Dunn has signed, he loves the RLs. Like, he loves amateur. Yes. Peter Dunn's the guy who's like, ooh, like, did you watch this amateur? He'll like randomly bring up an amateur match to me. He's like, did you see this? This player looked really the fuck? No, I'm not watching amateur, Peter. Like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. He's the guy that loves that shit. So why would you pick two players? These are literally the antithesis of what he would actually want on his team. So I'm so done with this team. They both better be gone by summer, because they have players that are competent, right? Ice Beasto is one of the best tops. Is he not one of the best tops in fucking LVP?
Yeah. And he's been like years and years and years and years. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the player? Don't you want like a weak side top? And then Zyru's this guy who has really big fucking.
So isn't Ice Beast actually Polish? I'm pretty sure Jankos probably even knows him.
I mean,
am I wrong? Is he Polish, Yamato?
I believe he's Polish.
I think he is, right? Yeah. It's better than having a Japanese player who, look, the joke is this, right? I love all those tweets that Jankos does about all the funny stories about Evie. Almost every single one involves him not being able to speak English. Like, has no one noticed that's the gag? Bro, that's your top player there.
I think Evie just hates him as a person, because you read the tweet and it says, how do you feel now? And then Yanko says, worse than before. And then Evie says, nice. And then he runs it down in game. So it's like...
No, the joke is, obviously, fucking Evie must have just...
I think he speaks perfect English.
I think Evie... Here's what actually happened. Evie was just a massive simp for that, like, cosplayer that Jankos was messing around with last year. And this is his way of getting back at Jankos. Like, Jankos is like the cool kid with the Letterman jacket in high school. And then Evie's like that nerd who's like going to get his own back and like, I'll get him. She doesn't deserve you, man. Like, no, it's just like that shit. Exactly. He's going...
I don't know, man.
Fucking Jankos up.
I would say, Team Heretics, I think last split... The one saving grace for them was their awareness of how bad they are. That's
Come on, because that's a great opening line. Go on.
Because they like basically they were so limited in their macro, their mid to late game, that they could only do one thing. That is curl up into a 5-man ball and just be on the mid wave. And they tried to pick Kesante, Azir, and just pick these front-to-back compositions.
They had some good band-aids for sure, yes.
And they took wins off of teams that that didn't manage to find that self-awareness. It's like they took a win off of Fnatic and they tried to do this thing where they played the Gwen top and they tried to win a game through side. And then turns out Fnatic didn't know how to do that appropriately and they completely threw that game. And I think that, in the context of that, that is an upside. And now in this split, they're trying to do something different, right? It's like Evie's playing Tryndamere and Gwen. And it's like all of these issues are even more glaringly amplified and visible that hopefully this will give them some kind of opportunity to get better, right? Because I would hate the fact if they like continue drafting in that manner where they just get away with death balling on 5 on midwave and sneaking wins and then kind of somehow crawling their way into best of 3s to just get stomped. Like that is like in my mind, if I'm working with this, it's like we're gonna fucking throw everything on the line. We're going to try to fucking improve it. And if not, we don't qualify to the best of 3s, and that's what it is. Like what does it matter if we get to play another week of games playing away that is not gonna lead to anything if we think about the context of the whole year? Because if they continue down that line, they're not going to qualify to the Worlds. They're not going to have any fucking chance to qualify to Worlds. And I think the main issue in their gameplay is it's like lane-wise, they're not that strong. They find themselves at disadvantages often. Even if they manage to find leads because Jankos is smurfing out of his mind in terms of how they manage side waves and how they play on side and how they leverage advantages from their lane positions, they are very bad at it. When the mid game comes, they don't know how to contest the mid wave. All the time, they're showing 5 people. They're not leveraging Fog of War at all. They are not leveraging that advantage. So the main thing you can do against Team Heretics is just leave your AD on mid, contest the wave, and then just steal their side waves, and they're going to completely lose their head because they don't know how to collapse on the side waves or play in river when it's necessary. And I think that Team Heretics' level of macro is just way too low. Their level of lane phase is also way too low, and I don't see the redeeming factor. It's like there was this one game that was a very, very good game from Team Heretics, and that was like the Draven game that Jack Spectra played where Jankos dove bot and they managed to get an advantage.
The one versus XL when XL is completely running it down.
Exactly, yeah. So that's like the one little wow, that was nice. But I think Team Heretics' biggest blessing is that Fnatic is doing so shit, and then it's like Team Heretics versus XL is going to be a contentious game. Wow, they're going to fight for 8th, and then they might just bleed in. But there's a very clear like bottom 3 that have nothing on the teams above them in my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I just think it's like completely criminal when you see the ERL mid laners, and then you see the fact that Ice Beasto can't get a fucking job. He can't get a job in LEC, and then you have like a Skarinen coming in, and he's also representing ERL. Like there is ERL talent. Like
there easily is. Like, dude, if people don't know, I don't even know why the Ruby guy's in LEC. Like, look, I know a few years ago, this guy came in and had a little bit of a flub split. That second guy should have had a chance by now, mate. Come on. Like, he can't have a fucking spot on an LEC team. Like, that's
I don't think you
bring back Jizuke, man. Bring back Jizuke.
Jizuke is a good shot.
Jizuke is a fucking machine.
Sure. That would actually be a fun team to watch. Jizuke mid, and then you put Ice Beasto top. You got the weak side top laner. Jizuke can just do whatever the fuck he wants in the game. You got like a promising AD carry in Jack Spectra. Maybe then they can do something. But
by the way,
these
I'll tell you right now as well,
watch.
Jankos would be the fucking dream jungler for Jizuke. He'll just automatically clean up his fucking mess and be in the right places. Like, if you do that, Jizuke, by the way, is going to carry a load of these best of ones. You'll be in the groups at least. Yeah, I'm with you. That would be a slam dunk move.
No, that's the hardest part to watch is like you think about the positions they play with. It's not even that Evie and Ruby suck. It's that they suck with advantages. Like their jungler gets them ahead, and then they're so bad at the game they can't even win from a winning position. So you start look at 2 of the games. One of the games, Evie is laning 1v0. He's not laning against anyone. It's like a roaming Janna, but the Janna is not roaming. It's just sitting in the fucking lane behind you and doing nothing on the map. The other game is a game where Evie is getting first blood. How many games did Jankos gank top and get Evie a kill, or gank mid and get Ruby a kill, and just see them fucking run it down? They don't win when they're put in winning positions. They're not good at playing from behind. What are their redeeming qualities? Actually, why are these players in the league? Why would you ever want to import over using players that are in your own system? Because that's the thing about it. That's the reason why I really don't like imports on bad teams. It's the same reason I always flame in LCS when we had like Ica and Tommy and all that stuff. I don't think it helps the league because these players are going to come over they're going to like play for a split. They're not going to elevate the rest of the league, which is what an import's supposed to do. They're supposed to be really good. They're supposed to be like Photon or Bo, where you come in and you're like, oh shit, like I could learn something from this guy. And then the players in your region get better as a result of having practiced against this guy for a whole split. They start learning stuff. Malrong is another example of a good import. He's somebody who helped like European junglers get better at certain aspects that they weren't that good at. Yes. I see these players coming in. They're going to be here for what? Half a year, 1 year. They're going to run it down. No one gets better as a result. And then other players in ERLs are missing the opportunity to be in LEC and learn something and get better, that are actually there for the long haul, that are going to stick around and be like the future of the league. So that's the main reason why I'm always flaming like imports that underperform, is I just feel like it's so unnecessary, and I don't really think that it helps anyone.
By the way, to loop this back into the discussion we had about like Dardo and Fanatics GM, this is why I think GM is the most underrated role in all of fucking League of Legends, because he sets the table. He gives you the tools you're working with. And like, I think Peter Dunn's a fabulous coach. What is he supposed to do with these pieces? Like, there's no combination that makes these pieces like a top relevant playoff team that can go to Worlds or something. It's impossible. So I think if you look at their team, this is why I told everyone the last 2 years, you've got to stop being a mark and getting hyped about orgs selling their LEC spot. Because remember what they all hear, Yamato, they go, oh my God, Schalke, well, we know they don't have much money. Oh my God, BDS is buying in. But imagine BDS, they'll probably buy like big name players. And all they've had is like an average team or a below average team. Then Misfits, by the way, one of the most goated orgs in years for making fucking nothing budgets turn into playoff teams. Like, they did a mega job. Misfits is replaced by Heretics, remember? You enjoying this? Misfits was way better than Heretics. Like, Misfits had a whole bunch of lineups that they got into playoff scenarios. Like, this team, again, they've overpaid for bad players, as far as I can tell. And I'm with you, Yamato. If you look at the macro angles and the fact that they can get sometimes lane leads, bro, there's no way Peter Dunn is bad at teaching fucking beginning players macro. Like, it's probably his specialty. I think the student just doesn't learn in this scenario. They can't. Something's holding them back. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.